People talk about red states versus blue states all the time in my comment section, so I think it's about time to compare the two. So let's talk about red states versus blue states. But before we get into that, let's go over how we measure political affiliation. A lot of the time when people do this, they just use the results from the previous presidential election, but there are a lot of problems with that. First off, with the exception of just a few states, these results change almost every election. And that's why for this video, we're also going to factor in governor affiliation, House affiliation, and Senate affiliation, and we're going to weigh all of these equally. And for the purposes of this video, what we're going to do is separate them into three groups. States that are 60% Republican or more are red states. States that are 60% Democrat or more are the blue states. And all of the states that are in between are purple states. After working all that out, these are the red states. Here are the blue states, and here are the purple states. And again, a lot of these may surprise you. They certainly surprised me, but this isn't my personal opinion, this is math. And last thing before we get started, all of my data is publicly available. I have a pinned video showing where to get it, so if you want to double check my work, you are more than welcome to. But anyway, let's go ahead and start with crime. When you look at all types of crime per capita, all three states are about even. However, the overall crime rates in the blue states are just a little bit higher, but let's go ahead and look at the types of crime. When we look at overall violent crime, these crime rates are much higher in the red states and purple states than they are in the blue states. And this includes things like school shootings, breaking and entering, even overall firearm related deaths. The types of crime that occurs in higher rates in blue states are usually non-violent crime like fraud and drug overdoses. And of course, firearm ownership is much higher in the red states than it is in the blue states. In fact, the only crime statistic that could be considered violent that's higher in the blue states than it is in the red states is robbery. But now let's go ahead and look at finances and poverty rates. When you look at median income remaining after taxes, rent, food, and power are taken out, blue states comes in the lead there. Blue states also have a lower percentage of food insecure adults and food insecure children. However, unemployment rate in the blue states is much higher. So it's a lot easier to get a job in red states than it is in blue states, but that job that you get in red states is much less likely to pay your bills. And although median rent is much higher in the blue states than it is in the red states, your income remaining after taxes is much higher, and that more than makes up for it. And now when you look at actually raising a family in these states, maternal mortality rate is much higher in the red states and purple states than it is in the blue states. Not only that, but infant mortality is the same way, which means it's much more dangerous for you and your child to have a baby in red states than it is in the blue states. Teen pregnancy is also much higher in the red and purple states than it is in the blue states, and the rates of SA are also much higher than in the blue states. And unfortunately, this holds true with child and teen suicide rates as well. So if you're looking to raise a family, it's actually much more dangerous for you and your family in red states than it is in the blue states. And now let's get into some miscellaneous stuff. Red states typically have more gerrymandering than purple or blue states, and a much higher percentage of their population is in prison. And blue states typically have higher internet speed. According to Cornhub, blue states and purple states have a much higher rate of corn consumption. Blue states also have more national and state parks than purple and red states do. And of course, if you follow my channel, you know that I talk about roller coasters. Blue states have the most roller coasters. But surprisingly, in this category, red states also have a lot of roller coasters, and it's the purple states that need to step up their game. And as always, if there's something that you want me to talk about, even if it's just a state or a couple of states, leave me a comment and let me know.